Hello, everyone. Welcome back to X-Rays, where we take a look at industry evolution through the eyes of those creating change and innovation. I'll be your host, Rosalie, for this online show where we'll discuss and learn the latest, most exciting developments from industry leaders, pioneers, and innovators who are shaping the future. Today, we welcome Soner Bekir, the founder and managing director at Algaesys Pty Limited, a sustainable wastewater treatment company. He has previously held managing director roles at companies such as Rain Cannon and Inlumi Holding, and has over 30 years of IT consulting experience. Today, Soner provides strategic guidance in regards to building plants, while also expanding international operations at Algaesys. So, with that, let us welcome our guest. Soner, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thanks, Rosalie.
So, I'd love if you could just give us an overview of your company and its key features.
Sure. The Algaesys system is a disruptive wastewater treatment and resource recovery process that uses a combination of algae, bacteria, diatoms, and other phototrophic organisms to treat water. In other words, it's a nature-based system that uses bugs to eat the bad stuff in water. On the benefits side, because we use endemic or local bugs, we don't need to worry about growing special strains or introducing species to the environment we operate in. And because of the combination of bugs we use, we don't need to pump air into the system to keep it alive, and we don't need to dose with chemicals to treat. We essentially create a sun-powered natural chemical plant that does what nature already does, just a lot more quickly and efficiently.
Oh, that sounds really interesting. What makes it different from other nature-based solutions?
Principally, it's the way the process has been designed, which has been with a practical approach over a long period of time to refine and improve the system. This has resulted in a robust yet simple plant design that uses minimal power and has low operational maintenance needs that don't require highly trained specialists. It's this approach that's produced a low energy, low maintenance, yet highly effective and fast wastewater treatment and resource recovery system that can essentially operate off grid. Because we use local species of organisms and because of how we use them, the process is self-seeding, so we don't need to put any effort into maintaining the biological component of the process, and because of the process design, we don't need to put any effort into harvesting the biomass. It also happens automatically. That translates into significant lower ongoing costs for the plants.
Are there any specific problems or challenges that your process was trying to address in your industry?
Yeah, there's many issues within the industry. There's actually a number of challenges that we designed our process to address. Firstly, cost-effective small-scale wastewater treatment. Bottom line is that with the majority of technologies available and in use today, it's impossible to do small-scale wastewater treatment at a sensible price point. The combination of power, equipment, expertise, supporting infrastructure, and space required makes most technologies or processes impossible to implement at anything less than a medium town-sized wastewater treatment plant. This means that either less effective methods are used to treat wastewater, and then the wastewater is released into the environment to let nature finish the job, or that larger facilities are built to service bigger volumes, giving you the economies of scale that you need to make it worthwhile. Secondly, when you do have large wastewater treatment facilities, you need to get the sewage from where it's produced to where it's processed. This results in thousands of linear kilometres of sewerage with pumping stations along the way, and typically this introduces a significant delay between the production and treatment of wastewater. That delay means that natural anaerobic processes to break down the waste have already started, and the quality of the waste, in terms of being able to recover any good resources, is poor by the time it reaches the plant. Thirdly, the overriding reason that we treat wastewater is to get it away from people. As history has taught us, disease and a lack of sanitation go hand in hand. That said, the way that we've historically done this has been to take the wastewater far away from population centres, treat it minimally, and then disperse it, ideally in a large body of water, so seas or rivers. Problem is that with the growth of population density and our relative levels of consumption, the volume and the nature of wastewater is more concentrated, and the ability of existing plants has typically not kept pace and is therefore outstripped, and the water discharge quality suffers. Finally, most large facilities typically use a biological process to treat wastewater, but the norm is that they use bacteria solely, and have to provide aeration in order to give the bacteria what they need to be able to eat the organic content in the water and also to continually mix the wastewater. This means that the treatment produces carbon dioxide as an integral part of the process and requires a lot of power to be able to operate. This is why wastewater treatment's been identified as one of the biggest users of power globally, approximately 2% of electricity usage, and is a large contributor to the emission of global greenhouse gases.
Okay, so I understand the challenges, but how is your technology addressing them?
Well, if you look at the principal benefits of our technology and put them into the context of the issues we're facing within our industry in general, then it starts to become clear. The first is the where. So low power consumption, robustness, small form factor, and ease of management means that you can put the plants in a whole bunch of places you wouldn't dream of putting a conventional facility right now. Whether that's in a remote community where there's limited power and no local engineering expertise, or on the roof of a shopping centre, hotel, or airport, the bottom line is it changes the paradigm of where you can have a treatment facility. There's the when. So by changing the treatment location, you change the time between production and treatment. That changes the quality of what you're treating and the ability to recover resources. So essentially, it becomes easier to treat the wastewater as it hasn't started breaking down yet, and so it's much easier to achieve better results. Then there's the why. Again, most wastewater treatment is focused solely on trying to achieve public health outcomes. But by speeding up the timeline and delivering better treatment outcomes, you then open up the possibility for reuse. I mean, why are we actually using drinking grade water on our plants or in our boilers or in our cooling towers or actually for our toilet flushes? And finally, the how. Because our process is energy efficient and a net producer of oxygen, every cubic metre of wastewater we process for reuse is effectively contributing to the fight against climate change.
Well, it seems that what you are offering is too good to be true. Why aren't people queuing up to use your technology, and are there any restrictions in using it?
Yeah, there are restrictions in the technology. We do need PAR, photoactive radiation, or sunlight, if you like, and we need water temperature. Ideally, the water temperature needs to be above 18 degrees centigrade and ideally between 25 and 40 degrees centigrade. While we can use workarounds such as ultraviolet LEDs and water heaters to get around these requirements, that introduces the need for more power, which reduces the focus we have on sustainability. However, for Australia and most of our region, these conditions are abundant and not really an issue. The biggest issue we actually face is a combination of conservatism in the industry. Despite the science behind our process being the principal reason that complex life exists on the planet, and despite results gained internationally with our treatment process, every new country or region seems to require that we reprove the technology locally and jump through a number of hoops before serious adoption can occur. We understand the concerns and the conservatism, but what we need more than anything are commercial partners who are willing to invest in a climate-friendly solution for their wastewater needs, so that we can provide local case studies with data for a number of vertical industries and geographies. There's only so much privately funded work we can do, and realistically, we want to help companies achieve better ESG outcomes, save on their water and power costs, and gain a competitive advantage whilst helping us gather the data required to prove efficacy in a number of different use case scenarios.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. It was fascinating to hear about Algaesys and the impact that it will make.
You're more than welcome, Rosalie.
And to our listeners at X-Rays, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Rosalie, and I'll see you next time.